Hello students, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to discuss about a new topic that is surgical aids. I am Bernisha, lecturer from Emmanuel College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to explain about the surgical aids. Let's get into this video. First, let's see what is surgical aids. Surgical aids are the materials which is used for the dressing of wounds or injured or diseased tissues. It mainly holds the wound's edges and it may closes closely during the healing process. During the healing process, these surgical aids mainly hold the wound's edges and helps in the healing process. Usually, these many materials are used for the dressing purposes and collectively they are called as surgical aids. In olden days, a piece of materials like cloth, cow dung, soil, leaves, honey, turmeric, which are some of the products which is used as the surgical aids in the olden days. After we are getting into the modern era, we have used certain surgical aids for our wound dressing. Here, these wound surgical aids are mainly used based on our wounds. So, based on the seriousness of our wounds, we are using the particular type of surgical aids. Now, let's see the classification of the surgical dressings. They are classified into primary dressings, primary or secondary dressings, and secondary dressings. So, they are classified into three types. In primary dressings, they have used four types of things. They are plain gaze, impregnated gaze, paraffin gaze, and film dressing. These are the some of the aids which is used as the primary dressing for our wounds. And the next one is primary or secondary dressings. This primary secondary dressing contains composite dressings, hydrogels, and calcium alginate dressings. These are the dressings which contains the composition of this hydrogels and calcium alginate. And the third one is secondary dressings. Secondary dressing means they are like absorbents, bandages, adhesive tapes, which is secondarily used for the healing processes. So these are the classification of the surgical dressing. And next, let's see the definition of this primary dressings. These are the dressings which directly come in contact with our wounds, and it mainly it provides some of the absorptive capacity and it prevents our wounds from infections and adhesion of the secondary dressings to the wound. The secondary dressings like hydrogels or calcium arginate, otherwise the bandages, from that and all, it provides the adhesion of the secondary dressing to the wounds. For example, plain gaze, impregnated gaze, paraffin gaze, and dressings. Second one is the secondary dressings. The secondary dressings are like bandages. Once we are placing the primary dressings for the protection, next for the protection of that primary dressing, we have to use this secondary dressings. For example, like bandages and adhesive tapes. Some of these dressings mainly occurs for used for the primary dressing only. For example, hydrogels, etc. So that type of secondary dressings are known as primary secondary type dressings. So the primary dressings are mainly used for the prevent infections of the wound, and the secondary dressing is mainly used to protect that primary dressings. So for the primary wound dressings, we have to first we are using the plain gaze. Plain gaze means it is like a soft cotton cloth, which mainly of open texture, which a flimsy appearance. We can see it in the picture. Just a soft cotton cloth, which is mainly used. What are the uses of these plain gaze means? Mm, it is woven in the form of spun threads are not loose fibers. Mainly cotton wools are mainly used, and it absorbs. It is full of absorptive capacity and it absorbs the water easily. And it gives adequate protection to the large wounds. It also gives a lot of protection, adequate protection to the large wounds, and it gives more absorptive and protective dressings. It also gives some absorptive and protective dressings. So plain gaze means it's a soft plain cloth like structures. So it is very it's made up of cotton or woolen threads or spun threads. And the next one is the impregnated gates. Impregnated gas means these are the plain gas. The plain gas which is impregnate or imparted with the certain substances like petroleum, paraffin, Vaseline or petroleum emulsions. So it's like the plain gas, but it has some of the substances which is used for the healing processes. So some of the substances like petroleum, paraffin, Vaselines are used. It is mainly used to reduce the adherence of the wounds. It mainly helps in the adherence, so that it also helps for the soothing effects of the wounds. The picture shows that the gas which has some of the layer of paraffin or petroleum jelly, petrolactam emulsions. It's like a film-like nature. And the next one is paraffin gas dressing. Paraffin gas dressing means which consists of it is a sterile, one small sterile piece of cotton which is impregnated with soft yellow paraffin, which is mainly used in the warm countries. These are the like gas, normal gas dressing, but it has the yellow soft paraffin, which sometimes we have to use soft and hard paraffin. It is mainly used for the skin grafting. During the skin grafting processes only, we are using this paraffin gas dressings. It mainly prevents the adherence of the tissues. It also prevents the adherence of the tissues. The open nature of the gas, this gas will have some of the open or holes like structures, so which helps the wounds to get proper aerations, and so that the exudate gets drained away into the secondary absorbent dressings. So this is the paraffin gas. So this is the paraffin gas dressings. And the next one is film dressings. In this picture, we can see that in the middle of that white place, there is a film-like structures which is made up of polyurethane with acrylic or polyether adhesives, which is mainly used for the wounds which gets the enough evaporation so that it can easily um, absorbs the moisture from the wounds and helps in the healing process and prevents the maceration. Maceration means we already know that maceration means the soaking process, so that the medicines won't get macerated over the wounds. This helps in the exclusion of the bacteria from the wounds, and it also helps in the permit bathing and observation of the wound. And this will mainly adhere to the skin and low adherence of wound tissues. Mainly that the white color layers will adhere to our skin, and it also prevents the adherence of the wounds. So it is a very good modified techniques of the surgical aids. Second one is the primary or secondary wound dressings. The primary or secondary wound dressings means consist of composite dressings, hydrogels, and calcium alginate dressings. So this composite dressing contains large absorbent rayon or cotton pads between these porous polythene films. Between these porous polythene films, there is a cotton or absorbent rayon pads. We can see this on our picture, which is commonly used for the dressing of the wounds. And the next one is hydrogels. Hydrogels are the cross-linked polymers such as polyvinyl pyrrolidine, cross-linked polyethylene oxide gels, and it is mainly used for the wounds to exudate, which may be trapped. Uses means these hydrogels are non-adherent dressings. It won't adhere to the tissues, so that which through the semi-permeable film allow the high rate of evaporation and cooling. Once it does not adhere to the wounds, it allows the high rate of air so that their wounds get easily evaporated and cooled. So this can be very useful in the burn treatment. During the burn treatment, these hydrogels are very useful, and it is also very useful in the hairy areas, so that the entrapment of hair into the dressing would be dramatic. We know that when The dressings were pasted or where dressings were adhered towards the hairy areas. It will be like a lot of, it will be shows a lot of pain. So in order to prevent that pain, the hydrogels are used in that hairy areas. And the next one is calcium alginate dressings. Alginic acid, which is mainly the derivative of polysaccharide, which is derived from the seaweeds, which is the incorporation of the calcium salt, which makes it more fibrous, and it is mainly highly absorbent. It is like a very absorbent, so the exudate can be easily absorbed from that secondary dressings. It is also held in place with gas tack or a film dressing. So these are the pictures of calcium alginate dressings. And the third one is the secondary wound dressings, that is our absorbents, bandages, and adhesive tapes. These absorbents like surgical cotton or surgical cases. The bandages means we have know that muslin bandage rolls, elastic bandages, orthopedic bandages, roller bandages. And adhesive tape means acrylate adhesive tape along with the rubber-based adhesive tapes. So surgical cotton means the raw cotton fiber mechanically cleaned of dirt and processed to remove the natural waxes of the cotton fibers. These fibers are defatted with alkali, bleached, washed and dried. It is available as rolls or small balls. It may be available as the rolls or small balls, which is mainly used to absorb the water readily. Hence, it is mainly used for the wounds, absorbing the wounds exudates. However, as its fibers are very loose, as if not formed of thread, they irritate and adhere the raw tissues also. It can be used for cleaning, swabbing, and medicating wounds, and for applying bactericidal solutions to the skin before surgery. Mainly, we know that before we are putting an injection, they have uses the surgical cotton for sterilizing our area, sterilizing the particular area, and for the um, for applying the bactericidal solutions such as certain antiseptics, we have to use the surgical cottons to apply that bactericidal solutions on that particular wounded areas. So the surgical cottons are mainly used for absorbing the wound exudates. Next is surgical gases. Surgical gases is used to provide an absorbent material of sufficient tensile strength. Mainly, this raw cotton fibers is cleaned and spun, twisted into a thread. So these threads are woven into an open mesh cloth. It is then bleached white and divided into increase the absorbency. It is mainly used for the various forms of pads. Compressed and dressings are made from surgical gauze. Along with the absorbent cotton, tissue papers, and other materials, it is used for the preparing various forms of pads. These are the some of the pictures of the uh, gauze filling or gauze bandages. Next one is the bandages, which is also known as medicated bandages. It helps to hold the dressing in a place by providing some of the pressure or support. For example, we are commonly using some of the roller bandages, muslin bandage rolls, elastic bandages, and orthopedic bandages. Mainly, it is used for the support. The common gauze roller bandage, which is used for the some of the support. It is prepared from the absorbent gauze and in various width and lengths. And each bandage is one continuous piece and tightly rolled, and it is free from the loose threads. And the next one is the muslin bandage rolls. We have commonly used this muslin bandage rolls. They are heavier unbleached materials. They are very strong. These bandages are very strong. However, wherever the bandages do not provide sufficient support and strength, we can use this muslin bandage rolls. It is mainly used to hold splints and bulky compression in that place. Mainly used to hold the splints. Next one is the elastic bandages. There are two types. One is woven elastic bandage and another one is the crepe bandage. It is very heavy elastic weaving containing the rubber threads, which gives a good support and pressure. This is than other bandages. Crepe bandages is elastic but contains no rubber in it. Its elasticity is due to the special weave that allows it to stretch and to particularly twice its length. These are the two types of elastic bandages which is mainly used to for good support and pressure. And the next one is orthopedic bandages, which is mainly used to provide the immobilization and support in the treatment of broken bones and joints. Mainly, these gases are impregnated with the plaster of Paris, and it is mainly used for the treatment of broken bones and joints. In the picture, we can see that orthopedic elastic plaster bandage. These bandages contains the elastic thread in the fibers and which is used for mainly specialized for the prosthetic uses. Next is adhesive tapes. When these adhesives are spread over the backing membrane, it is called as adhesive tapes. It is mainly used to secure the primary and the secondary dressings where it is placed on the wounds, and sometimes it also gives some more support to the fractured ribs and clavicles. Mainly based on the materials present in the adhesive tapes, it is categorized into rubber-based adhesives and acrylate adhesives. First one is rubber based adhesive tapes. These tapes which contains the rubber adhesives, mainly which provides the heavy support and high level of adhesions. These rubber adhesives generally contains the large number of components which few may cause some of the allergy reactions also. So these adhesives mainly uses the rubber-based products. And the next one is acrylic adhesive tapes. We have normally used in the used for covering the wounds. So it is the acrylic adhesive tapes. So in this case, the non-woven fabric backing or spread with acrylic adhesives. They are hypoallergenic. They do not produce any allergic reactions. They eliminate the possibility. Usually, they are unipolymeric systems, so sometimes it may eliminate the possibility of allergy, which is these acrylic adhesive tapes are the most commonly used adhesive tapes while used in the primary usage of wound healing process. Most of the people are commonly using this acrylic adhesive tapes. And the next one is sutures and ligatures. The sutures and ligatures are some of the medical terms. The surgical suture is a strand of fiber which is used to hold wound edges in application during healing. So it is the strand of fiber which is used to hold the wound's edge in application during healing. While the ligature is a thread or string with the needle which is used to tie the blood vessels and other tissues together. So in this pictures we can easily differentiate the sutures and ligatures. The first one is the suture and the second one is the ligature. The suture will hold the edges of the wounds during the healing process, but the ligature, which contains a string or a thread with a needle, which is used to tie the blood vessels or other tissues together. Usually, this sutures material may be divided into two principal classes, that is absorbable and non-absorbable. This absorbable sutures contains mainly used the materials that are capable of being broken down or digested by the body. Usually, the absorbable sutures which will be absorbed by our body. For example, get curtain synthetic material like polyglycolic acid, polygalactine, polypropylene. These are the some of the materials which why after the wounds get good, it healed, the sutures get easily absorbed by the body. First, we have seen about the observable suture. Next is the non-observable sutures. These are made from various materials such as polyesters, nylon, and these materials invite the foreign body reactions or onset of placements. Usually, it prevents the entry of certain foreign products, foreign materials, so that it prevents the infections. It is mainly used for the cardiovascular and ophthalmic and neurological procedures. For example, silk fibers, nylon, polyester fibers, polyolefin fibers, linen, metallic features. These are some of the non-observable sutures. Here, first one is silk, which is mainly important non-observable surgical suture. Here, the many such fibers are twisted into a single strand with various diameters. Usually, the silk sutures are handled very easily and tolerated well by our body tissues. Usually, the silk sutures contains a protein fibronin as it is extruded from the silkworm. It can easily undergo some of the tissue reactions and which may also causes some of the allergic reaction as it may contain some of the microorganisms. And the next one is nylon. Nylon is a polyamide which is obtained from the condensation of adipic acid, hexamethylene diamine, or from the polymerization of caprolactam. It is very strong, water resistant, and it can also be used for all the switching and ligating. And the next one is the polyester, which is prepared by melting or extruding the polyethylene diamine PET into a fine filament and will be cutted into the different sizes. And it is mainly do not lose strength on contact with water or any other body fluids. Next one is polyolefin fibers, which is made up of polyethylene or polypropylene. As compared to the nylon, these fibers are tied more secure knots with very low tissue reactivity. It is mainly widely used for the cardiovascular and other surgeries. And the next one is cotton and linen. These sutures are derived from the cellulose that they are twisted from the fiber staple and undergo some of the heat sterilization process as it is stable to heat. Next one is the metallic switches. Metallic switches means some of the metals like silver, steels are used for the preparation of switches, and that will be the end. So the silver wire foil and other forms are used to some of the extended switches. Silver has some of the antiseptic actions. So, but some of the tissues may undergo produces some irritations when it react with the silver. And stainless steel is a ferrous alloy which is resistant to the chemical attack. It is mainly used in the form of wire sutures, fixation plates, screws, and other items. And the next one is observable gelatin sponges, which is a sterile sponge intended for the application on the bleeding surfaces, mainly as hemostatic. It is made from the animal skin gelatin and it is water insoluble. So it may cut into desired size and placed where it can able to absorb the blood or other body fluids. It is mainly used to prevent the bleeding conditions and act as a homeostatic. And it may first it is soaked if it's soaked in thrombin, it directly acts as the coagulation and increases the homeostatic action. As these foams get soaked in the thrombin, then used in the bleeding areas, it can easily act as a coagulation property and increases the homeostatic actions. As soon as after the removal from the package, it can be applied to the applied to the particular bleeding area with some of the with pressure. It may be used either dry or saturated with sterile or isotonic sodium chloride solutions. Okay, students, I hope you all have learned about the surgical aids. What are the three different types of surgical dressings? That is a primary dressing, secondary dressing, and the primary and secondary dressings. What are the sutures, ligatures, and what are the materials which is used for the preparation of sutures, and what are the surgical dressings and how we are using the surgical dressings, and somewhat brief detail about the surgical aids which are used in our day-to-day daily life, and what are the different materials which is used in the preparation of the surgical dressings. I hope you all have learned about this. Let's see in the next video. Thank you.